This John Black, super chemist. You're talking about how many illegal aliens are actually in the country right now. And I really wish people would stop calling illegal aliens immigrants, and especially newcomers. You're a traitor. At this point, you are a traitor. Okay, if you can't see this as an invasion, okay, because no one is that stupid. Okay, you're a traitor. Stop calling them immigrant. An immigrant is someone who has been vetted and has come into the country legally, and they like our country. They don't hate it, and they don't want to destroy it, and they don't feel entitled. They come into the country, they ask for no welfare and no help, because they're strong people. They're good people. Trump let in 500,000 legal immigrants in every year. That's 2 million. 2 million over his thing. But they were all vetted. Okay, I don't think there should be that many. That's crazy. But at least they were all vetted. Okay, let's do the count, man. They already admit they let in 10 million people. They admit that outright, okay? I don't think anyone debates that, right? Then you got the gotaways. They say 2 million. Some people say 5 million, okay? But the 2 million is the government. They're saying 2 million. I don't believe that. Okay? But let's say 2 million. Okay? If the known gotaways, or the gotaways that they see, they're like 100 feet away, or, on their night sensor, cameras or whatever, they just see it on camera and they can't do nothing about it, you know what I mean? If there's 2 million of them, you better believe there's going to be at least 5 million that are unknown gotaways. I mean, we can all agree with that, right? Because they're coordinating it. They know they can, if they send in 1,000 illegal aliens here, they know that all the 100% of the Border Patrol will be at that point now, because they got to process all these people. And having that kind of power, obviously you're going to use it if you're a cartel. Thinking that they won't is ludicrous. Obviously they're going to use it to their advantage, and at least 5 million are coming in that are unknown gotaways. Okay? So now what? We got 10 million that come in just regular, 5 million that are unknown, 3 million or 2 million that are known gotaways. You're up to 17 million already. Now let's say another 3 million takes it up to 20 million. 20 million. Where do those 3 million come from? Well, the CB4 app, or whatever the heck they call that famous app that they're always talking about, that. The Biden administration is out. Also, there are other apps. That's not the only app. There are many apps. There are multiple apps, first of all. Okay. Secondly, the Biden administration is also flying these people directly over the border that they aren't counting. Okay. That they got caught recently. Some of their flights, like 300,000 illegals, they got caught flying in. If you think there's only 300,000, yeah, I don't think so. I think it's more than that. Yeah, but then you got the UN also, and 20% of the UN's money comes from the U.S. We give 20% is funded by the U.S. And yet we give billions every year now to these third world countries, and we tell them, you can fly your people in, you can dump out and the UN tells them, the Biden administration tells them, because they want them to do this. They say, you can dump out all of your people from your insane asylums and your prisons. You won't have to collect taxes. Those are people just are a liability on your society. You can get rid of all of them, and we'll fly them in for free. And anyone else that wants to go, let them go. We'll fly them in. But those three things combined, that's about another 3 million, right? Over the 4-year period, you know what I mean? Yeah. So now you're up to 20 million, right? Now, we think about how many illegal aliens was already here before Biden. I Googled it. 10 million. So now that takes 20 million up to 30 million. There are 30 million illegal aliens that they admit to. Okay, they admit to it. Okay, and we know they're all lying. Okay, I'm going to add another 3 million on top of that because I know they're lying. Okay, they're coming in other ways, and they're not whatever. Like the people coming from the north, from Canada, most of them aren't even counted, I bet. But anyways, let's take it up to another 3 million to 33 million. I don't think that's out of it. They've lied about the labor stats. They've lied about the unemployment stats. They lied about the Russia hoax, the Biden laptop. They just lie after lie after lie. How many times? It's like a woman who gets beat by their husband, and it's, I'm not going to beat you. Then the next day they get beat. I'm not going to beat you. And she keeps saying, I believe him. 20 years later, I believe him. He said he's not going to beat me. How many lies does it take? Does it take 20 years of lies? But anyways, so that's 33 million. There's 330 million American citizens in the United States. 10% of 330 million is 33 million. And how many illegal aliens do we have, did I just say? 33 million. Okay, you get that, right? 10% of the population right now is illegal aliens. And guess when the riots, non-stop, all over the entire country, guess when that happens? 20%. Well, 15 to 20%. At 20%, your country is chaos. Okay? How do I know? Because I don't believe these idiots that are always saying, I'm just going to leave the country when it gets too bad. This is a global thing. What's happening here is happening in every first world country. There is nowhere to go. All the borders are open. The UK borders are open. France open. Germany open. They're all open. They're all having this LGBTQ religion. All of them are doing the same things. They're all hating Jews all of a sudden now. There's 16 million people that are Jews in the world. Out of 8 billion people, there are only 16 million Jews. Half are in Israel and half are in the United States, and a little bit are sprinkled around the world. That's like 2%. Somewhere around 2%. I don't got a calculator. 2% of the population is Jewish. And yet people still blame Jewish people. How many... If there were 2 Jews on the planet, would we still blame Jews for stuff? I mean, how more extinct do they have to be before we're like, it can't be the Jews. There's only 2 of them over there in the corner there. I see the 2 Jews there out of 8 billion people. Can it be at 10 Jews? When there's 10 Jews, can we say, oh, it's not the Jews then? Because at 16 million, you still have a lot of people in the world blaming the Jews for everything. It's the elites, not the Jews, okay? Some elites are Jews, yes. Anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So 10%. And how do I know that because the open borders in Germany's got 20% of their population right now is illegal aliens. Yeah, go look and see what's going over there. You think it's bad over here because the colleges have all these Jew haters, Antifa. They say they're college students, but really only like 10% of them are college students. The rest of them are Antifa, paid off by George Soros, right? To make it look like it's a CIA trick where they go in with $1 million and they start a riot here and a riot here. You know, they get the here's a gang banger. Oh, here's 10,000. Here, start a riot. And then they go over to this city and do the same thing. Here's 10 grand. Here's, another gangbanger. Here's 10 grand. And then you go to another city, and you really only have 50 riots that they all created, but they spread it across the whole country. So it seems like the whole world is in chaos when it's not. It's just those 50 cities, you know what I mean, or those 10 cities that the news is just focused on, you know what I mean, saying this is happening all over the country. Yeah, well, that it's in Germany. It's not students anymore. It's not pretend students. It's literally all of the illegal aliens. They're chanting 10,000, 100,000 sometimes. Kill the Jews, kill the Jews. But it's not about Nazism, is it? Even though this is happening in every country. Every country. And the more you go over to the east, to the France, and then to the, Spain, or whatever, whatever progression it goes. And all the way over to Germany and Norway, or whatever the hell's over there, right? It starts over in Germany, around that area, and it comes over to the west until it gets to the U.S. Everything is happening. The same thing is happening all over the entire world, man. And they at 15%, the riots started big time. Now that they're at 20%, the riots are ridiculous. They are they're basically like the entire world is shifting to the right because the left is so crazy because it's the deep state. It's the globalization deep state, the elites. We are in a what's it called? A demagogy. Look up the word demagogy, okay? Because that is what we are in. I'm going to get into demagogy in a video sooner or later. But all societies there's a cycle societies go in, all of them. And demagogy is the last cycle before you go back to mob rule, which is the beginning of the cycle. And you start with a king, you know what I mean? Someone, becomes a king. And then the cycle starts again until you get to a demagogy again, and then it goes back to mob rule. But the thing is when we go to mob rule, the globalists, they're going to swoop in like they did with Ukraine, right? The same people bombing them is the same people swooping in BlackRock saying, hey, we'll buy all your stuff up, all your properties for pennies on a dollar, right? And then we'll build new businesses that we own, and that way we'll save your society. All you have to do is give up all your rights, okay? And we'll do that for you, buddies. I know you're starving. Russia's really killed you. Well, they're going to do that to the whole globe. They're going to put a chip in us. And if you got a chip, you can't pay your rent without the chip, right? Can't buy food without a chip. Can't pay your electric without a chip. Can't buy gas for your car without a chip. Can't buy a car without a chip. So what happens if everyone gets a chip and only the elites have that button that they can press on anyone's chip to turn it off? How can you complain about anything they do? Once they take free speech away, how can you complain? At that point, they can take babies, on national TV, rape them, stab them, fry them up in a pan and eat the baby. And say, this is what America wants. And if there's no freedom of speech, then that's what America will get. Because when you don't have freedom of speech, they can do whatever they want. Because who can stand up again? No one can say, hey, you're wrong. Because they take that freedom away. I forget my original thought here. I was gonna circle back to it, but once they take once they take that chip, they take your freedom away to do anything. You can't protest. You can't, even talk bad about them online, or even you're not even talking bad on them. You're just asking questions. Yeah, that will be information. That will be chip worthy. That's worthy of turning your chip off. You know what I mean? You need to get back online and say that question was racist. Did you ever hear how many times I've heard now newscasters, the press secretary, that hot black chick who always has to dress like a man. She started out being a woman, and more and more she's into a man suit. Now her suit is makes her look like a football player. But yeah, I forget what I was going to say again. But how many times did they say whatever? I can't remember where I was going with this. They all just want to take your freedom away. And they want these illegals to vote, is what it is. They want free labor, cheap labor. They want them all to be voting Democrat or they get deported. And they want rent to go up because they own the apartments. That's why they like the rent to go up.